All right, now tonight, the Biden economy is going from bad to worse as the country is now facing the real possibility of a diesel fuel shortage this winter and a real possibility that heating bills spiking north of 30%, especially in the Northeast this winter, as Biden's energy policies now continue to cripple our energy security. Hardworking Americans all across the country are now suffering. Now, look at this report from the Wall Street Journal, even warning of winter blackouts across New England, all because of Joe Biden, his economic, his energy policies, and, of course, his efforts to artificially reduce the world's supply of energy because we need renewables and let the new Green Deal socialist climate cultists set his agenda. But the disaster does not stop there. Now, the Dow tanked again today after the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell announced another, 4 in a row now, 75 basis point increase rate hike, meaning that it's now going to cost even more to buy a new home or a used home. Now, that's 4 months in a row, a massive increase in interest rates. So what does it mean to you? Take a look at your screen. A monthly mortgage payment of an 8% rate, a 30-year rate, would be a whopping $300 more a month than a 7% increase or a 7% rate at 30 years, and around $1,000 more every single month when you compare it to the rates under President Trump, which were well under 3%. Now, think about that. Now, we go from, what, an average of 2.7%, a little under 3% for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. OK, so now you'll pay $12,000 more per year over 30 years. That is a whopping $360,000 more for a $500,000 home over 30 years with a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. So let's be clear. We're now headed towards 8% for a 30-year fixed, and I would not be surprised if double-digit rates are now in our future, and all of that is added to surging Biden inflation. You have rising prices everywhere, from the gas station, the grocery aisle, a sinking stock market. Everyone's 401ks are suffering, all caused by Joe Biden, his economic and his energy problems. But what is the White House's response? To mislead you, the American people, even more. Take a look at your screen again. The White House deleted this tweet today, touting an increase to Social Security checks after Twitter fact-checked the post, explaining, well, that the only reason the payments are going up is because of Biden's inflation and the cost of living adjustments, or COLA, they call it. Now, this is why I cannot convey my full urgency in words about how critical and crucial this election really is. Here with reaction, Fox Business host Charles Payne. All right, so you're paying 2.7% for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. It's over 7% before today's 75 basis point increase. I did the math. I laid it out. $500,000 home. It's now costing dramatically more for a family. So now we have a housing recession, meaning new home construction has stopped. Sale of pre-existing homes is stopping. And home values are deteriorating along with your 401ks. Now, how does that stop?
It won't stop for a long time. That's what we learned today from Chairman Powell. And we got to go back to how this happened, why it happened. It's too much money. Too much money was poured into this economy. We had $7.3 trillion from both administrations. Now, listen, anyone who tries to conflate what happened in 2020 when we stopped the entire economy, told people they couldn't go to work, businesses they could not open. And by the way, the entire world did that. With what happened in 2021 is just being disingenuous. The point, though, is that last tranche, all that money that came in 2021, it's this spark. It sparked two things: runaway inflation, which now we cannot get under control, and a wage spiral. When you pay people not to work, when they make double the amount of money staying at home eating a bowl of Fruit Loops than they do for going to work, businesses get desperate. When they get desperate, they have to raise wages. And this wage spiral also now is uncontrollable. So the Federal Reserve is trying to douse this. And listen, I'm not a big fan of what they're doing, but I admit they have to do this to a degree. And what's making it even tougher is President Biden is still pouring more money into the economy. Some people are already getting checks for college loan forgiveness. By the way, these are the elites of the elite. They will make anywhere from $1 to $3 million more more than the average person in America. And there's not a single state where more than 50% of the people that live there have bachelor degrees. So the majority of Americans are paying, subsidizing the elites, who, by the way, are getting paid to ride out this runaway inflation. And let me say one thing, Sean. This is so important. President Biden's trying to pass the buck with respect to oil companies. I just want to read two headlines for you. One is from February 21st of this year. Biden administration freezes new oil and gas drilling leases after court rules against a key climate tool. They were trying to come up with some kind of funky metric to hurt the oil companies called a social cost of carbon. The court said that's ridiculous. So what did they do? They halted all the leases. Now let's just go to another headline. This is critically important. October 28th, this is in Heritage, just recently. Biden knows his policies increase energy costs for Americans. So where did they get this evidence? The Department of Interior put out a 500-page report. So, I mean, who's going to read it, right? Inside that report, they admit that allowing offshore leases would reduce the cost of oil and natural gas. Oil by 73 cents and natural gas by 6 cents. So they've been delaying this. They're deliberately hurting the American public, and everyone needs to know this while they're going out there and blaming oil companies and profits, because that's an indirect attack on capitalism.
And by the way, Powell put a wet blanket on any idea that we would have a soft landing in terms of the economy today.
Powell was upset. Let me tell you something. I haven't seen it. Fire was coming out of him. I mean, he is like, we are going to pound this economy. We're breaking out the mallet. And by the way, everything we assumed in September when we crunched the numbers, they're going to go higher. And this is the worst, by the way, this is the worst intraday reversal on a Fed day in history. We were up initially. We cratered into the close. The only thing that stopped it was the closing bell. We would still be going down at this very moment. Powell was breathing fire. His job is so insurmountable. He knows he's going to become a public villain. There's nothing he can do. He's fighting a monster that was created under the guise of free money. Modern monetary theory, free money cures everything, right? It was gender justice, environmental justice, racial justice. All it's done now is make the poorest Americans poorer. And ironically, Jay Powell's saying he's gone after excessive savings. Poor people don't have excessive savings. It's going to be a tough ride.
I'll tell you, buckle up. It's really disproportionately impacting the poor, middle class, people on fixed income, but it's also impacting 70% of the country that are now living paycheck to paycheck. Many people borrowing on their credit cards just for bare necessities. Anyway, Charles Payne, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.